Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the AR pistol brace, and we're going to be considering is using a pistol brace an act of compliance in and of itself, right? Because a lot of us standing up right now are saying, we're not going to comply with the ATF regulations, and a lot of people are coming along with the counter argument that, hey, you guys are already complying. If you wanted to be a rebel, right, you should have took off the brace a long time ago and put a proper stock on it, right? If you wanted to be a rebel. So today that's going to be the question that we're going to be considering. Is the pistol brace itself an act of compliance, and are we all just kidding ourselves when we say that we're not going to comply with the new ATF rules? Now, very recently, the Yankee Marshal, another gun tube channel, did a video basically along those lines, all right? Pushing that argument. And I'm going to post a link below so that you guys, because what he has done is he has very neatly packaged the counter argument, right? So I think you guys should go check out that video. Now, I want you guys to know is that I am not disrespecting the man, right? He's entitled to his opinions. He's actually, he's got many other great videos out there. Obviously, I follow him, but on this particular issue, I respectfully disagree with him, and the reason why I wasn't even going to make reference to my source, but I think that he's actually done such a good job of packaging the counter argument that I'm going to put a link below so you guys can go and see it, and you can also drop some comments in his channel. Be respectful and tell him why you disagree. Okay, so the first question is, the first issue that comes up is that the pistol brace is in fact a stock. Okay, that's one of the arguments that the Yankee Marshal was making. Okay, that pistol brace is in fact a stock, and that the ATF is correct in its position, or rather having reversed its position that stood for 10 years. So here's my thought on that. Okay, with regards to what this actually is. Okay, we all got most of us have just regular driver's licenses. And on a regular driver's license, right, you can drive a passenger car, you can drive a pickup truck, right? You can rent yourself a U-Haul van, right, or a U-Haul truck. In fact, you can drive a truck right up to 26,000 pounds. Okay, you can drive a truck on a regular driver's license. Okay, so for some reason, the Department of Traffic, right, has determined that 1 pound above 26,000 pounds. It's a big boy truck, and under 26,000 pounds, my wife or my mother can drive it. Okay, so here's the thing. I mean, I drive a pickup truck. I drove an F550 small dump truck for many years. I can easily drive a 26,000 pound truck, and I could just as easily drive a 30,000 pound truck. So for me, there's really there wouldn't be that much of a jump skill-wise from going from a truck that, let's say, weighed 26,000 pounds up to a truck that weighed 28,000 pounds. So to me, they're realistically, practically, there is no difference between those two trucks. Okay. However, take somebody, let's say like my wife, who just drives a passenger car. For her, going from, let's say, her passenger car, trying to drive that 26,000 pound truck that she can legally do on her driver's license, right, is significantly harder, right? That is a significant step up for her. So the point I'm making here is, who decided that 26,000 pounds, is the mark, right? Is what actually defines what a real truck is, right? But the point is that it's an arbitrary number, okay? It has stood that way for a long time, and that's the definition. That's pretty much what we've all been used to, okay? So even though there really isn't that much of a difference between a 26,000 pound truck and a 28,000 pound truck, okay, the fact is that that distinction has stood for a long time, and that's what we have to go based on. I didn't make up the rules, but that's what we've been going by, and I think that it would be a big deal to try and make a change, because, for example, U-Haul rents out lots of trucks that weigh 26,000 pounds because they can legally do so. And if, let's say, the Department of Traffic came along and all of a sudden say, no, you can't rent that out, people can't drive that on a regular driver's license, that would cause a lot of damage to U-Haul, right? And all of a sudden they got all these trucks here that they can't rent out. So the fact that it's been that way for such a long time, it cannot be changed, even though, you know, there is a significant jump between a passenger car and a 26,000 pound U-Haul truck that anybody can rent and anybody can drive on a regular driver's license. Okay, so that's the reality is. We didn't set up that distinction, but we've come to live by it. So same deal here with the pistol brace. Okay, we're not the ones that determined that this is different from this. Okay. Okay, we're not the ones that made that determination, but it's been that way for about 10 years. And all of a sudden, arbitrarily changing that, is basically turns our culture, our gun culture, on its head, both the manufacturers and the people that have bought these things. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to bring up with regards to, is this really a stock or is this really not a stock? The fact is that this distinction has stood for a long time. And I was actually planning to do a separate video on this with regards to the question of how these two things are used, right? Because one of the things that the ATF said is there's a question of surface area. How much surface area is there to make contact with your shoulder? Well, a lot of people don't realize this, right? But when I shoot my AR, the toe, this part right here, this little corner, right? This edge, that's the only part that makes contact with my shoulder, right? Because basically I put the toe in my chest here, and now that hinges up. That acts as a hinge, okay? So that's the only part that makes contact with my shoulder. This tiny little corner right here, not any of this stuff here, right? And the reason why we do this is because both 5.56 and even this 9mm AR, they have very light recoil. So we have developed techniques that work around the light recoil. So if this was, let's say, shooting a 308, I wouldn't use this technique, okay? But this works really good with 223s, 5.56s, and 9mm, okay? So the same deal with the brace. If I'm going to use this, I'm just using this tiny little edge right here, right? If I'm going to shoulder this, that's the only part that's actually touching my body, right? This tiny little edge here. So the question becomes, well, what if you remove this, all right? Let me do this. I'm going to remove this one. Okay, so if I remove the stock, well, now look what I have here to make contact. This flat surface over here offers a lot more surface area than this little corner over here, right? And this is perfectly suitable. Right? So this is perfectly shootable because this actually has now more surface area than I normally use. Okay? So this is increased surface area, not decreased surface area. Now, if I was gonna, let's say, if for some reason I wanted to keep it in this configuration, the only thing I would do is I would put a riser on this. I would raise this further up so that I could basically touch this to the same exact spot, and then as I bring this up, this is up at my eye level. So that's the only change I would make if I was using this. And like I said, this offers additional surface area, not less surface area than the regular stock that I normally use. Okay, so again, over here, only the toe touches my shoulder, right? I put this over here, come up. So taking the stock off or taking the brace off, right, gives you additional surface area to make contact with, not less surface area. Okay, so that's the first thing I kind of wanted to get out of the way. Okay, so now the next thing I wanted to discuss, again, were people saying that putting the brace on here, okay, is an act of compliance in and of itself. Okay, well, here's the thing. Once I shut off the camera, you guys don't know what I'm going to do here, right? You don't know if I'm going to take this stock off and put it on here, or take this lower off over here and switch it onto this one. So as far as the compliance part of this is only a question of what is publicly seen, okay? And likewise, when I'm a range safety officer at a public range, whatever, I just follow the range, I basically just enforce the range rules, okay? If people show up with SBRs or with braces, or if they show up even with machine guns, okay, if it's legal, if the rules allow for people to shoot machine guns at the range, I allow it. I don't ask for paperwork, right? I never once in my life asked for paperwork because somebody had an SBR or somebody had a machine gun or whatever, okay? Not my job, okay? I don't do enforcement. So the range safety officer at the range, the person that's running the range, they're just enforcing the range rules. They're not enforcing ATF rules. So like I said, once you buy this, what you do after, nobody's able to really see. The only point at which this becomes an issue is if you're going to use this for self-defense, okay? So even right now where the rules are kind of questionable, I would not recommend using a gun with a brace on it, right? Or an AR pistol with a brace for self-defense, because just the rules are in question now, okay? It's got to work its way through the court system. So that's the only thing that's really affected with whether this pistol brace ban stands or doesn't stand. It's just a question of whether this is the gun that you would want to use for self-defense, okay? But as far as what you do, on an unsupervised range, or what you do on your own property, nobody knows, okay? The brace has been very convenient for me as a training tool because I can do videos, right? Up until now, I could do videos where I can use the brace to basically do informative videos where I'm training people. Whereas, let's say this is all of a sudden it's banned, well, I'm not going to be doing that, right? I'm just going to use this, right? Now, one of the benefits of the AR pistol, this is a great benefit for training women, right? Because the barrel's a little bit shorter, it's a little easier for women to bring this up and do the regular stuff that I do with a standard 16-inch AR. So for me personally, like even for home defense, my choice is a standard 16-inch AR. The only time I would consider maybe using this for any self-defense is, any self-defense type of work is in the car, right? Because I can't have a loaded rifle in my car. So that's the only place where this would actually and really change my mind, change my life, right? Change the way I do things, okay? But that's important for you guys to know. What you do in private or on a private range that's unsupervised, or where the range safety officer is perfectly happy to look the other way and not ask questions, that's not going to be affected, okay? So let's go on to number 3, right? The pistol brace is a great gateway for women, okay? Because this is lighter, this has been having women shoot these AR pistols with the brace has been very important as far as being able to bring new people into our community. And I think that's one of the key features, one of the key things that the anti-gunners are trying to attack. They know that there's lots of people out there like me that are actively out there recruiting non-gun owners and turning them into gun owners and bringing more people to our side. And that's what they're really trying to attack, because this is an excellent gun for women, right? Because it's not so front heavy. So they're figuring if they can, get this out of the market, that's gonna pull the women away from us, right? All of a sudden, women aren't going to be shooting these guns. When they go to the gun store and they pick this up, right? They're going to be like, oh, this is heavy, okay? Right? This is scary. This is uncomfortable because it's so big, Whereas when they pick this up, they're like, oh, this is nice. This is light. I like this, So that's one of the things that they're trying to do. By taking the pistol braces out of the market, they're trying to peel off the women from us, right? In terms of they don't want them owning these guns because once women shoot these guns and they see how easy they are, they like them, and all of a sudden when the news is out there, showing these guns as being scary and the type of thing that only, murderers and crazy people use, if women have shot these guns, they know that's a lie. But if they can keep these guns long and uncomfortable for women to shoot, well, they're not going to have any experience to be able to say, hey, what the news is telling me isn't exactly right. Okay, so that's number 3 here. The pistol brace is a great gateway to bring women into our community, and even for new shooters in general, with new shooters, like for a lot of us, we might be like, hey, okay, buy this without the brace and then modify it, right? But for new shooters, for women, that's a step too far, right? So you can't make that argument to people that are not familiar with guns. They need to be able to go to the gun store and buy this complete, right? And first of all, they know that because they're buying it at the gun store, the gun is legitimate. They expect that it's going to work. You can't tell new people to buy a gun with the intention of modifying it. That's just a step too far. Okay, so that's a big advantage. This is a great gateway gun, particularly with new shooters and with women. Okay. Okay. Next, one of the arguments I have heard is that we should attack the NFA directly. Okay, that the NFA itself is unconstitutional, and we should attack that. Well, the problem with that is that that's a very hard fight. Okay, the way that we are most likely to win is by breaking this up into, breaking this the Second Amendment fight up into small, tiny little parts, and fighting those little parts in isolated individually. If you try to, first of all, on publicity-wise, right now on the news, this is a pistol brace issue, and what they're talking about, when they're talking about in the news about the gun rights groups trying to push back against the pistol brace ban, it's just that. It's just about the brace. But when you attack the NFA directly, all of a sudden the way that the media is going to phrase this is that gun rights groups are trying to legalize machine guns. Okay, that's how they're gonna pitch it across the news. And to people that don't know guns, all of a sudden that sounds a lot scarier. Okay, so that's part of the reason why we cannot attack the NFA directly. We gotta break it up and attack it in little parts. Okay. Okay, so number 5, the brace is a much easier fight. Okay, so this is a lot easier to fight this in court versus trying to go against the NFA itself. We'll get there, but we gotta do it step by step. Okay, number 6. Okay, one of the conservative justices, Chief Justice Roberts. Okay. He's like a little wishy-washy, right? He's what they call an incrementalist, okay? He only does like little changes at a time. If this gets before him, okay, there's a good chance that he might be persuaded that the ATF actions on this are unconstitutional, and he's more likely to rule this unconstitutional along administrative lines, that the ATF overstepped its authority. He is more likely to rule in our favor on that than he is to say that the NFA is unconstitutional. Okay, so you got to know your judges. And right now, I believe it's not just me. Lots of people believe that part of the reason why, for 10 years there was no pro-gun rights cases coming before the Supreme Court, even though we had like a 5-4 majority with conservatives, is because Roberts was like a little bit of wishy-washy. People didn't know exactly where he was going to land. Hey, so he's an incrementalist. He's not likely to strike down the NFA outright. Okay, we have a much better chance of taking a lot of small little cases up before him and arguing little bits and pieces at a time. Okay, so there's that. Okay. The other great thing about the pistol brace is that this keeps us recruiting. This keeps us bringing more people to our side, especially the women. And again, that's something that they're trying to take away from us. Okay, so that's another reason why we should fight this fight. It keeps us in the news, right? So even if you think that this is stupid, even if you think that this is, let's say, there was a lot of people that were saying that the bump stock ban was dumb, right? Well, the bump stock ban basically got us here because a lot of people were willing to look the other way with the bump stock ban. ATF came back with this now, okay? So So this keeps us in the fight. And here's the thing, if we roll over on this, right, well, they're not just going to stop, right? They're just going to go to the next thing. Then they're going to want to ban AR pistols, right? Because then they're going to make that argument that I just showed you guys before, that even this gun, even with this removed, right, this is a lot more surface area than that tiny little corner there that I would normally be using, okay? So that's the next argument they're going to say. They're going to say, well, we got rid of the brace, but that really doesn't do anything for us. Now we got to get rid of the AR pistol altogether. So that's why we got to fight this fight. Okay? And the next thing I want to talk about is the one of the arguments that I heard was that that fighting the pistol brace ban, it basically is it's a money maker for the lawyers and for the industry, right? The lawyers want to run this through the courts. The industry wants to keep selling the braces, and my counter to that is that, listen, we need them, right? I want them making money, right? If they're not making money, they're not gonna be in court defending our rights. Okay, so you know, basically, I mean, that's just the reality of this. Economics plays a big role. If the lawyers and the industry are not gonna make money, they're not gonna pursue it. Okay, so you can't go against that. You gotta kind of go with it and use that to your advantage. So there are my thoughts on that. Okay, drop some comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Now, one of my YouTube channels already got shut down. The one that said Pocono Shooting, its name was Pocono Shooting / CCW Training. I had too many strikes on that, and I got an email from you, because I tried to get into that channel. I couldn't even get in. And then I looked in my email, and it said that the channel had been permanently deleted. Okay, so my main channel, the Tafa, that has like the 5,000 subs, that one's already got 2 strikes on it, so that's not going to last long. My other channel, Absolute Gun Rights, that's also, it's got 1 strike on that. That's not going to last long. I mean, basically, the YouTube, is pushing hard. There's lots of channels that are not getting strikes, even channels that are kind of like on the soft side. Right, because on my channel I show gun building, I show lots of stuff that YouTube absolutely hates. So I've been getting strikes all along, but a lot of times what they would do is they would just delete the videos without giving me strikes. Now instead of just deleting the video, they actually deleted the channel. Okay, so I'm going, sooner or later, I'm going to be off YouTube. I'm going to put a link below to the other platforms that I'm on. Okay, so I'm on Rumble, I'm on Odyssey, I'm on HugeTube, and I'm also on BitChute, right? So I'll put a link to one video out of from those other channels, so that you can go to the channel, you can click on the video. That's how you'll find my channel over there. The name on all those channels is more or less the same. They're all like Pocono Shooting or Pocono Tactical, or if you look up Safa, you might find me on the Safa. But if you find one video over there, you'll find the rest of the channel. Okay, so yeah, those are my thoughts on this. Let me know what you guys think below, and I'll talk to you all soon. Hello everyone, welcome back. I just reviewed my video and I realized that I didn't answer the question, right? The question is using the pistol brace an act of compliance? And the answer is unquestionably yes. This is an act of compliance in and of itself. However, okay, it is strategic compliance. Okay, we're bending the knee, right, so that we can get close to our enemy and stab them in the gut. Okay, so it is an act of strategic compliance. It allows us to put ourselves in a better position to continue our fight. On the one hand, like I said, we're able to recruit women that like shooting these guns. With new shooters, they've got to get the gun ready. Okay, we can't tell them, build the gun yourself. Okay, they got to get the gun ready. Once people get this gun, okay, if they're able to buy it and continue to buy it in this configuration, a year later, as they get more comfortable, as they get to know people, they can get around to maybe truly not complying. Okay, but they got to start somewhere. So for a lot of people, this is the starting point, right? A lot of women need to use the shorter barrels, and the brace up until now has allowed them to buy. Okay, so this is all about staying in the fight. Just like the bump stocks weren't really about the bump stocks, the pistol brace isn't really, about the pistol brace. Okay, it is the overall fight is about defending the Second Amendment, and getting back our gun rights. I mean, ultimately, we do need to, we do need to fight the NFA and get that removed as unconstitutional. But it's a question of how we get there. Like I said, the example I said is, we are bending the knee, but that can put us in a better position to get close to our opponent, get down low underneath them, so we can stab up into the gut. Okay, so yes, it is compliance, absolutely, no question about that. But it's with a strategic purpose. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all soon.